Okay, and we are live. Been a while since we've done one this way. I hope I still remember how to do it this way. And we're set. Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching. It is the American Doofus Show. Don't be a doofus. And we've got some news and some stuff. So we'll just go ahead and get started. First story comes out of New Jersey.
The arrest of a Bucks County police officer along with 3 other men. And the arrests are the result of a sting, but it wasn't police who set it up. It was everyday, ordinary citizens. Action News reporter Dan Cuellar joining us on live in Doylestown tonight with details on this. Dan.
Showing the arrest of Corporal Clifford Horn of the Central Bucks Regional Police comes following an operation carried out by a concerned citizens group whose members pose as underage children on social media sites.
If you can be honest, or I can call the police. Your choice.
Video obtained by Action News shows a man being confronted by members of a citizens group affiliated with the Colorado Pet Patrol. This after he allegedly arrived at a home in Atlantic City for the purpose of engaging in a sex act with who he thought was a 14-year-old boy.
Your zip is down, by the way.
I don't know why his zipper was down. I have no clue.
The group says the man went on the Grindr app to arrange a meet with the underage child for a quick sex act. The man sent a picture of himself in his underwear. The boy told him he was 14 years old and if he was cool with that. The man said yikes, but never said no. The man taken into custody by Atlantic City Police has been identified as 54-year-old Clifford Horn. He would later be identified by Bucks County authorities as Corporal Clifford Horn of the Central Bucks Regional Police.
But I knew he was something because he wouldn't answer it. He didn't want to incriminate himself. He didn't want to talk. But man, when I heard that today, I was shocked.
We went to Horn's home in Chalfont to get his side of the story, but no one answered the door. The police department referred all calls to the Bucks County DA's office. The DA's office issued a statement saying it had assigned personnel to assist New Jersey authorities and to investigate and prosecute any criminal activity that may have occurred in Bucks County. Meanwhile, Atlantic City Police had been working with the citizens group. Thomas Fellows says he founded Colorado Pet Patrol almost 5 months ago and that this was very personal to him.
My brother-in-law molested my son 7 years ago. So that's the reason why I do this today.
In the case of Clifford Horn, he says they were really careful in making absolutely certain the guy in front of the house was the guy talking to the 14-year-old decoy on Grindr.
He said, I'm in front of your house. I'm in front of a running truck. And the running truck, we were on the other side of it. So that was our last confirmation. 100% we knew. He said,
Thomas Fellows says they have now helped police across the country make 40 arrests of this type. They also say that there were 3 others that were arrested in separate incidents in Atlantic City. All 4 have been charged with luring children by various means. All 4 were released on a summons with a future court date. Live here in Bucks County, I'm Dan Cuellar, Action News at 10 on PHL 17. Sherry?
All right, Dan, thank you.
Our next story, this is being covered quite a bit by all kinds of different outlets, and I'm not going to play a lot of it, but I do want to play some of it. This is from one of the officers that was on duty the day of the riots in
21. From my first-hand experience as a Capitol police officer, directly involved in those events, and still hurting from what happened that day. I'm providing this testimony solely in my personal capacity and not as a representative of the United States Capitol Police. Before I begin, I'd like to take a moment of my time to ask for a moment of silence for my fallen colleague, Officer Brian Signate, who died from injuries he sustained in the line of duty defending the capital of our beloved democracy. Thank you. I reported for duty at the Capitol as usual early on the morning of January 6th. We understood that the vote to certify President Biden's election would be taking place that day, and protests might occur outside the Capitol. But we expected any demonstrations to be peaceful expressions of First Amendment freedoms, just like the scores of demonstrations we had observed for many years. After roll call, I took my overwatch post on the east front of the Capitol, standing on the steps that led up to the Senate chamber. As the morning progressed, I did not see or hear anything that gave me cause for alarm. But around 10:56 a.m., I received a text message from a friend forwarding a screenshot of what appeared to be the potential plan of action, very different from a peaceful demonstration. The screenshot bore the caption, January 6th, Rally Point, Lincoln Park, and said the objective was the Capitol. It said, amongst other things, that Trump has given us marching orders and to keep your guns hidden. It urged people to bring your trauma kits and gas masks to link up early in the day in 6 to 12-man teams. It indicated there would be time to arm up. Seeing that message caused me concern. To be sure, looking back now, it seemed to foreshadow what happened later. At the time, though, we had not received any threat warnings.
As I said, you can see this on numerous platforms, numerous mainstream platforms even. But I just wanted to draw attention to it, that it is happening, that it's poignant, and I'm not going to play it on here much. As I said, just a little bit of it there, because I want to get to this. Okay. Again, thank you everybody for watching. I greatly appreciate it.
Debtors in this country pay all of these people salaries, and they owe the people of this country the answers to the questions.
Okay, just to give a little bit of context to what's going on here. 3 Congress people, QAnon people, including Matt Gaetz from Florida, whose close associate has been charged with child trafficking for sexual purposes of a 17-year-old, and potential charges coming his way. He was one of the people there. Marjorie Taylor Greene, the QAnon congresswoman, was there, and this is not me name calling. This is how they identify themselves. And one other congressman was there, but they were having a press conference because they're suing Nancy Pelosi because they were made to wear masks on the floor of Congress in the middle of a pandemic. And kind of, I don't know. I'll leave that up to you to decide. But I think this is an important few minutes to watch.
Thank you. For those of you that really feel about this process,
Oh, great. Well, I wasn't anticipating that. Let's see if we can get out of it, get back into it real quick, and continue on. Let's see if we can get back into it.
Salaries, and they owe.
Well, they're not wanting me to play this for you. So I will do this. I'll play that at another time. I'll just tell you right now that the press conference was broken up and
Four Capitol police officers testified in front of the January 6th committee today about the racist terrorist.
Well, okay, let's just listen to I wasn't planning on this being on here, but you know what the heck, we're live.
Four Capitol police officers testified in front of the January 6th committee today about the racist, terrorist, ultra-violent, nearly homicidal treatment they received, all at the hands of the Blue Lives Matter crowd. Yes, these officers viciously attacked while thin blue line flags waved in the air. I say it all the time, these people are immune to irony. It was truly horrific testimony, and now Republicans all around the country are asking the same question. When will Nancy Pelosi be held responsible for this shit? I mean, what else are they going to say? It's a pretty bad look for them, although I would argue par for the course. Hypocrisy is kind of fundamental to the American conservative experience. They're pro-life unless you're anything other than a fetus, really. They support the troops unless that troop is trans. They're for small government unless the government's going to tell everybody to do some black Christian shit. And they back the blue unless the blue stands in their way, in which case it's time to get out the pitchforks and the N-words because having their way is the only thing they care about. They're like any mob of low intelligence minions. They take on the characteristics of their overlord, and Donald Trump has proven time and again there is no one who will not betray to further his own interests. Ask Mike Pence about that. There's no loyalty amongst fascists. So if you're a high-level Republican hearing this today, what are you supposed to say other than continue to blame it on Nancy and Antifa? Listen, for the last time, it wasn't Antifa, okay? We had an immigrant lesbian slam poetry tournament that same day. It couldn't have been us. Leave Antifa out of it. I guess they could try to ignore it. Ted Cruz is on Twitter blaming COVID on Mexicans or some shit because this is a difficult situation for them, which Democratic leadership needs to realize. We cannot keep talking about trying to work with their Republican colleagues in Congress or whatever. If their colleagues had their way, this never would have happened. Nobody ever would have heard this today, and we cannot abide that because, like Redneck said when he walked into Ruth's Chris, the stakes are too damn high here, okay? People like Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema have got to understand that we need to move forward in spite of these people because the fabric of our democracy hangs in the balance. Like
That, of course, was the liberal redneck. You know what? Let's just hear one more from Trey.
Well, how about this? Texas Republicans have passed a bill shredding the public school.
Hold on just a second. For some reason, we didn't connect. And here we go.
Well, how about this? Texas Republicans have passed a bill shredding the public school curriculum in their state, removing the requirement that students be taught about things like I Have Dreams speech, Susan B. Anthony, Cesar Chavez, Native American history, and pretty much anything not all root-tootin' white manny, which isn't entirely true. Historical white men are affected as well, namely the worst ones to ever live. The bill also removes the requirement that students be taught the history of white supremacy, including slavery, the Klan, and how those things are morally wrong. Ah, yes. Implying that slavery might not have been wrong. Classic party of Lincoln, am I right? Also, Texas, what's left to teach? Just going to be 12 straight years of the Alamo and 90s Cowboys facts. Also, speaking of Cowboys facts, if you remove all the Native Americans from history, who are the heroes of all your stories going to shoot in the back? Didn't think about that, did you? This is some real rodeo clown shit here. Clearly a continuation of their ongoing war against the boogeyman of critical race theory. They can't have little white kids learning anything that might make them feel fundamentally racist or whatever. All right, here's the deal. I grew up white in the South. I learned about the Klan, and whether it was from history class, my godless daddy, or John Grisham, either way, somehow I was aware that the Klan sucked out loud and dressed dumb as fuck while doing it, okay? And yeah, all the cross burnings and the lynchings made me pretty uncomfortable. They're supposed to. But I never felt personally offended by learning any of that, probably on account of I'm not in the Klan. Why would I be offended by that? And some people might say, well, maybe you had ancestors that were in the Klan. Well, it fucked my great-great-grandpapa if he was. Like, if that guy could find out how I would one day turn out, he might stop flogging his mule long enough to call me a quitter, okay? To hell with their legacy. If you're offended to hear that the actions of the Klan were wrong, that kind of implies that you think they were right. How else do you explain it? These things should be taught in history classes because they happened. They really actually did happen, and they mattered. And those should be the only criteria for what is taught in history class. It's like these people are just admitting, we believe that our children are so fragile that the truth might be damaging to them. And so we must ignore it and cherry pick a different reality designed for their convenience, which actually completely makes sense when you consider how these people lead their own lives and then call us soft. Kiss my ass, man.
All right. I'm going to try this one more time with what happened at the
Senators in this country pay all of these people's salaries, and they owe the people of this country the answers to the questions.
Thank you. For those of you that really care about this process.
Yeah, Facebook's not going to let us play that. Questionable. We'll get it on in an episode by its or along with something else coming up here. Hey, thank you all for watching. I'm at the end of this, and I just was notified by phone that it's not being shown live. So I'll find out what's happening, and I'll get it posted right away. But until then, until next time, we'll figure out what's going on here. It is the American Doofus Show, of course. Don't be a doofus. I want to wish blessings upon all of you. I sincerely do. These are dark, troubling times. We're facing a lot of things, and it's better to face them together than as enemies, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion, and we don't tell you what to think or how to think. We just give you things to think about. It's the American Doofus Show. Don't be a doofus. It is a dark world. Do try to be a light. I love you all.